Okay, so section 3.3, we are going to talk about some basic word problems that deal with systems of equations. There's two types of problems. The first, 1 through 4, involves some sort of addition. Okay, and we're going to talk about those, some sort of addition to set up our equations. And then 5 and 6, the examples we will do in the next class, the next video, they are what's called mixture problems. Okay, so mixture problems, there's a mixture problem. So put a little asterisk by it. Okay, you'll see it again. I'm going to ask you at least one of each of these on the test you're going to have next week. Okay, I'm not going to ask you anything different. It's going to be in the very same style as these so that I want you to practice these. So we're going to look at example 1 together. Okay, example 1, did everybody get one of these, by the way? Anybody walk in after I stop passing them out? Okay, good deal. So let's read this together. If you're watching on the video, this is attached as a PDF. You can print it out. I'm not going to write the problems on the board. It says a soccer field is constructed with a perimeter of 320 yards. Now, I understand word problems are difficult. It is tough to take words and make math equations out of it. I get it. Okay, so that's why I'm starting off with these nice, relaxing problems so that we can get good at picking out the key information. And in that first sentence, there is a key word that tells you a relationship. Anyone want to tell me what that key word is? I'm in the first sentence. You're in the second. That's good. Hold that thought. Perimeter. Yes. So just as a review, anybody remember what perimeter means? It's good hand motions. I like it. It's the outside of a figure. Okay, it's the distance around. Okay, so the perimeter is the distance around the outside of a figure. Does anyone know what operation we use to find the perimeter of something? That would be the area. That would be multiplication. So that's not what we're doing here. Okay, so sort of. We're going to add, but don't forget. Your answer illustrates this. Don't forget to incorporate all the sides when you find the perimeter. Okay, yeah, and you have a formula, and formulas are great. If some teacher in the past knocked some formula into your head, that's fantastic. I choose not to remember formulas when I don't have to. So I'm just going to remember this one thing, that you add up all the sides. So whether it's a rectangle, whether it's a triangle, an octagon, or whatever, you just add up all the sides. That's the perimeter. So if you didn't already, in that first sentence, circle the word perimeter. That is a key word for us. The second sentence says its length measures 40 yards more than its width. And so what we're asked is, what are the dimensions? What's the length and the width here? Okay, so great. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to define my variables. Whenever I'm dealing with a rectangle or something, I like to draw a picture to do that. So here's my soccer field. Really good rectangle. I'm an expert at drawing rectangles. There we go. And I'm just going to label the length and the width. And since I'm super clever and I want to make sure I don't get confused, I'm going to call the length L and I'm going to call the width W. You can use any letters you want. That is totally fine. I'm going to use W and L so I don't forget which is which when I get to the answer. So that's my recommendation for you. We will do that on every problem. Define your variables. Remind yourself what you're finding so that when you get to the end of the question and you're supposed to answer it, you know which one is the answer. The second thing, and this is what we're going to do. We're not going to solve the system because we've talked about solving. When you do your homework, I'm assuming you've done the 15 or 20 solving problems I got, and you're going to be pretty good at that. What we're just going to do so that we can do all 4 of these is we're going to set up the system. So first equation, I'm going to go back to the first sentence. It says my soccer field has a perimeter of 320 yards. We talked about perimeter. Perimeter is adding up all the sides. Let's do that to find the first equation. So I'm going to add up all the sides. So what is this side right here that I'm pointing to? Width, so I'm going to call that W plus. What's this top side going to be? L, length, plus. What's this side over here going to be? W, and then what's the bottom side? L. Yes, we'll collect the like terms on that in just a minute. Okay, and if you already knew the formula, you can skip that step. That's fine. I just choose not to remember the formula. And so then that is equal to 320 yards, so 320. there's our first equation. I'm going to collect the like terms and make that a little prettier. So W plus W is 2W. L plus L is 2L equal to 320. There's equation number one. I'm going to put a little number one by it so that we know that we need that. I'm going to stop because I know word problems stink. I know we don't like them. We would choose to avoid them. Does anyone have a question about where this popped out of? Question, comment, concern? Okay. The first type of problem you're going to see in your homework are going to be some perimeter problems. Okay, so if you can do this, then you're going to repeat it and hopefully remember how to do this when you get to the homework. The second equation we're going to get just by reading that sentence and translating word for word. So the first word says it's length. Well, how am I representing the length? Measures is a comparison word. Okay, it's like the word is. It means equals. So you can make a little note to yourself that when you see a comparison word, it's just meaning equals. So the length measures, the length is. Okay, so I'm going to say the word measures is equal. So I'm going to put a little note for you for later. We got that from the word measures. It's a comparison word. 40 yards more than, I'm going to stop. So 40 yards, I think we would all agree, is the number 40. More than, somebody earlier said that was a key word and they were 100% right. You should circle that. More than means what operation? Add it. Yes, addition. 40 more than, and it's 40 more than what? W, it's the width. Boom, done. There's my second equation. The first equation, the key word was perimeter. The second equation, I just read that sentence word for word and translated it. Length measures 40 more than width. And that's my second equation. Now, the way that this problem was given to us, it's set up to, let me put a little 2 here. That's the second equation. The way this problem is given to us, it would be probably easiest to solve it by substitution. If you want to eliminate, then you would bring the W over here. So everything's on the same side of the equation, and then you can eliminate. You can do it either way. When you get to your homework, you'll solve this. It won't be too big of a deal. But again, I'm assuming you practice solving, and that's not going to be the hard part. Word problems, the hard part is setting it up. I know that's to be true. All right, so example 2, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 minutes. For example 2, it's almost the exact same problem, except instead of a soccer field, it's a parking lot. And you are going to set up the 2 equations. If you have time and you want to solve it, go ahead. That's fine. We will set up the equation together. I'm going to get started. You're still working, keep working. So reading the problem, it says a rectangular parking lot has a length that is 10 feet more than twice its width. The perimeter of the parking lot is 620. What are the dimensions? So again, we're looking for the dimensions. We're looking for the length and the width. So I've defined what those are right here. The width is W, length is L. Same thing as the previous problem. So the first sentence tells us that the length, so again, L, the length, that is, the word is, when you see is always means equal. Okay, is always means equal. So length is 10 feet more than. So what do I write next? Okay, 10 plus 10 feet more than twice the width. What's the word twice mean, in case you didn't know? What do I do with the two? Multiply by 2. Twice means times 2. Okay, so in case you weren't familiar with that word, so twice means twice the width, 2W. There's your first equation. Anybody get something different that we need to talk about why yours is different than mine? The second equation says something very similar to the previous problem that we did. It says the perimeter is 620. So again, I'm just going to add up all the sides. The left side is W, the top is L, the right side is W, the bottom is L, and that's 620. And so that's 2W plus 2L again, or 2L plus 2W, whatever makes you happy, is equal to 620. There's your two equations. Once again, this problem is set up, probably the easiest thing to do is to substitute the L, 10 plus 2W, in for L, and then get your width, and then go back and get your length. And those will be your two answers, and then you'll write them down or type them into MyMathLab, and all will be good. All right, so that's the first style of problem you're going to see, something related around perimeter. The second type of problem is represented in example 3 and example 4. So let's first read the problem, and then you're going to answer a first question for me. Example 3, it says, for the 2012-13 season, 2 hockey tickets and 1 basketball ticket cost $173.01. 1 hockey ticket and 2 basketball tickets cost $162.99. So what's the cost of each ticket? Okay, super. So what are we looking for? The cost of a hockey ticket, cost of a basketball ticket. I heard those two things said by people. Okay, so let's define those variables. Okay, so that should be step number 1. So this is example 3. We're going to define the variables. So the cost of a basketball ticket, what should I call that? Any recommendations? Okay, I'm going to use B. You can use X or Y. It really doesn't matter. I'm just not that bright sometimes, and if I call it something different, I'm going to forget when it comes to answer the question. So B is my basketball ticket. So what should we call the hockey ticket? Sure, why not? Sounds great. Again, your choice of letters makes absolutely no difference. Okay, so if you're like, oh, Berkster, I would not have picked those on the test. That's fine. Use whatever letters you want. That's not going to affect the answer at all. So now help me. We're going to reread the first question or the first sentence, and you're going to help me make this into an equation. It says 2 hockey tickets and 1 basketball ticket cost $173.01. So 2 basketball tickets, what's that? 2B. You okay so far? And 1 hockey ticket, what am I going to do next? Plus H. If we're going and buying these, we're going to add up these costs. The word cost is a relationship word, just like measures or is. So again, if you want to, just remind yourself that that's a comparison. It's a relationship word. It means equals. Okay, so it costs. And then the number, it's 173.01. Great. Yeah. So everybody, look that way. There we go. We had it right the whole time. Sorry, everybody. Let me reread the first sentence and then we'll do it right. It says 2 hockey tickets. So that's 2H. You all answered my question correctly. It was just the wrong question earlier. My apologies. So 2 hockey tickets and 1 basketball ticket 2H plus 1 basketball is 173.01. Did we recover from my mistake? Sorry, I hope that doesn't confuse you long term. Can't get through a class anymore. I'm too old to retire. All right, the next sentence says, let's try to get this right, Perkster. 1 hockey ticket and 2 basketball tickets cost $162.99. So 1 hockey ticket is what? H. 2 basketball, and that is $162.99. If you want, you can substitute by solving for either the H or the B. They're pretty easy to solve for. I would eliminate. Personally, I would multiply this bottom one by -2 and smush them together and end up with the answer after that. That would be my recommendation there. Maybe we'll come back and solve this because we're running a little ahead of my schedule in my other class. So I'll leave that up there. If time permits, we'll come back and solve it. Question? I would multiply this one by -2 to make a -2 in front of that H. All right, so I'm going to leave that there. Leave a little gap in your notes. If there's time, we'll come back. We'll solve that. Just because I want to feel like I've done a good job today. All right, example 4 is going to be our last example for the day. If you would please set up the 2 equations. All right, so this problem says in 2013, 2 general admission theme park tickets and 3 children's tickets cost $239.95. 1 general admission and 4 children's cost $224.95. What's the price of each? So again, what are we looking for? We're looking for the price of each ticket. I should have probably told us what letter to use so that there's no confusion. I'm going to use G for general admission. And I'm going to use C for children's. Again, that does not make any difference if you used X and Y or M and N or A and B or whatever your favorite 2 letters are. It's totally cool. Okay, I just picked those so that I remember. So the first sentence says 2 general admission and 3 children's. So what is that going to be? Okay, for my letters, 2G plus 3C. Okay, so whatever your letters are, you've got the appropriate letter right there, is equal to $239.95. How about the second equation? 1 general admission and 4 children's. What's that going to be? Sounds great. Anyone is not seeing where this is coming from or any question, please ask it. I think I've written everything up there correctly. Those are the 2 equations. I would suggest eliminating. In fact, let's solve that. We've got plenty of time. We'll solve this one right here. Let's solve this and figure out what the cost of each ticket is. So we're going to eliminate. I'm going to eliminate the G's. Okay, you can eliminate the C's if you really want to. I'm going to eliminate the G's. So we'll do that, and then we will be done for the day. All right, if I'm gonna eliminate the g's, what am I gonna multiply by here? -2 on the second equation. I don't need to multiply the first one by anything. Okay, because I've already got a 2g in front of this one. This is gonna give me a -2g. Okay, so if you have a question about that, please bring it on. I'm here hopefully to be helpful, not to be a hindrance. So the top equation is going to stay 2g plus 3c is equal to 239.95. The bottom equation is going to become -2g, and then -8c is equal to negative, and then -2 times 224.95 is like 449.90. Is that it? -449.90. That's just calculator work. Okay? Use your calculator, phone calculator, whatever you want to use. Okay, don't trouble yourself with those numbers. Let's combine those now, and the g's get eliminated. That's great. 3c minus 8c is -5. And then when I add 239.95 and a -449.90, what is the result there? -209.95. Do I have confirmation? Good. All right. It's seconded, approved. Sounds great. Good thing both of these are negative, because it's a word problem. Okay, so it shouldn't end up being a negative ticket price. They don't usually pay you to go to the theme parks. That'd be a fantastic deal if they did. So we're going to divide by -5, and I get the children's price is going to be a negative divided by negative is positive. And what's 209.95 divided by 5? 49.99? 41.99. Thank you very much. Okay, so the children's price is 41.99. Fantastic. And then you're going to take the 41.99. You're going to pick either equation. I'm going to use this bottom one because the g is all by itself. So I have g plus 4 times 41.99 is equal to 224.95. So it's just, again, a little calculator work. What's 4 times 41.99? What's your calculator tell you there? 167.96. I have confirmation of that. Is that seconded? Sounds great to me. I love it. And then I subtract the 167.96. And that tells me that the general admission price is equal to what value? 224.90. Sorry, somehow lost a number. 95 minus 167.96. 56.99. Seconded? Math by democracy. Love it. Okay, those are the values. I'm just going to pause the recording. If you have a question, I'm here for it.